Hey guys, this is IrieStarcraft and I'm back to cast another game for you. This will be a 3 versus 3 and it will be on Ulaan Deeps. And it's going to be between cruxYelloSno, the red Zerg, and zaezrng. zaezrng. I'll call him Zaze. He'll be the teal Zerg player, and Albert will be the blue Zerg player. Their opponents will be none other than the real megumixbear, the purple Zerg, and Sorcery will be the yellow Protoss, and NrGsteve will be the orange Protoss. Now, I think, uh-oh, are we trash talking about chicks at playing Starcraft? Uh-oh. And apparently Megumi a little sensitive to that, as I guess she probably deals with it a lot. But yeah, it looks like we're playing some off races, because I know Megumi is usually a Terran player, and Sorcery, I don't see him on Protoss much. More of a Terran Zerg style, I think, or what I usually see. And who knows about NrGsteve. But one thing I do know is, what the hell is going on? There are 10 drones inside of NrGsteve's base. So this really seems like an interesting idea, and by interesting I mean really bad idea, because Steve is going to have a probe advantage, and probes can recover their shields in battle. So I think if Steve tries to straight up engage this and just micro his probes, he should actually be fine here. So interesting that okay, so he's actually still got 2 drones here mining. So so he's just trying to actually delay the Steve's mining. So this is pretty crazy. I've never seen anything like this. He's going to start losing drones here in a minute, and finally Steve has decided to just straight up engage this and chase him around and chase him out. So this is crazy. I was about to sit here and talk about what kind of strategies are going to happen, and now Steve is pretty screwed, because there's going to be Zerglings coming his way, and he's not going to have much to defend it at all. I was about to sit here and say that that playing with 2 Protoss against a 3 Zerg team is extremely difficult, because the Protoss are practically forced to wall in here, but Sorcery is opting to use the Zealot wall in, which is a good idea at this point, instead of the forged cannon wall in, because Steve's base is the one that's going to be in trouble here, as there goes the pylon, and so this gateway is completely unpowered, and Steve's base, he's pretty much dead. So I've never seen anything like this, and this is super cheese. But apparently it works, so it's going to be up to Sorcery and Megumi to counter and make sure that cruxYelloSno dies for doing this, because he still has nothing here. But it looks like Megumi is actually going to be okay. Sorcery's got 1 Zealot in here, and Steve is going to be using these probes to ward off the Zerglings, but still Zay is doing a nice job keeping him off the middle line. Here comes the there's a sentry right here, and there goes the force field, gonna trap all of Zay. No, it did not trap the Zerglings. They're able to get around that somehow, and actually gonna surround Sorcery's Zealot here. There it goes. And Steve desperately trying to rebuild this wall up here, and he's forced to sit up here with all his probes. I think he's got a couple left back there mining, but now more and more Zerglings streaming in for Zayas, and now his probes are in huge trouble, and NrGsteve is canceling the pylon, trying to run away his probes and buy as much time as possible, but they are all going to die, and now he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to try and hide some probes over here, it looks like. But no, it looks like Zayas wants to check out Sorcery's base, and he does have a couple of sentries here. He has opted to completely wall in. He's been forced to, and he has no cannons back here to defend. He does have these sentries now, and so this is a pretty bad deal here from Zaze. He needs to stop trying to kill his gateway, because he just lost about half of his Zerglings. Now at the same time, it looks like we've been playing some Zergling cat and mouse up here at the top, just trying to mass up more and more. Nobody opting for that Baneling tech just yet. And sometimes what can be very effective is if the Zerg player that is on the team going against the triple Zerg team ends up going for fast Banelings. That can be extremely powerful. And I can't tell you. I guess right now Albert has a Zergling advantage numbers-wise. Let's check. We can see Albert does have a slight Zergling advantage there. And now the Baneling's Nest is on the way actually for Albert. So that will prove to be extremely powerful. And now Zaez is up here to fight with him, and Megumi is going to be in a lot of trouble here. And Sorcery's got some sentries and zealots coming up here to try and help defend Megumi's base, who's desperately spawning more and more Zerglings. Look at this huge wall of Zerglings fighting, but you can tell that the right team with a far superior number and no spine crawlers yet are just being thrown down. The queen already dead, and now the zealots are being surrounded. The sentries are trying to wall themselves in with force fields, and that will let them survive for a little while. But Albert morphing in some banelings here. Not even going to be necessary at this point with Megumi's base in shambles. And NrGsteve seems to be thinking GG right now. We'll see though. The right team really has not been harassed this entire time. So I just don't see how there's any way that they could lose this game. Sorcery does have a 4-gate in effect, but he's really the only player left now. That Megumi, okay, Megumi still has 200 minerals, and Hatchery is going to survive. As it looks like, actually, it looks like Sorcery killed all of those Zerglings. Apparently, Zaez and Albert did not run away with those Zerglings. They engaged there. I wonder if Sorcery trapped those, and I didn't even notice it. I just assumed. My bad there, but it looks like Sorcery is going to be counterattacking with a pretty formidable force. And one hazard of being of the Zergling rush, and combined with the drone rush of cruxYelloSno, is that if you let one of the Protoss players get that 4-gate going, he's going to become extremely powerful. And you can see at Zaez's base, he has absolutely nothing left. And Sorcery will be force fielding this ramp here to keep out any kind of reinforcements. Not that there would be enough reinforcements at this time. So Albert is going to be making a counterattack. Sorcery, well aware of that. He's going to be warping in a few zealots to set up his wall here, and one sentry. As you can see, he's trying to micro multiple places. He got a nice force field right there. Going to be able to finish off this base. And cruxYelloSno, who has been expanding and stuff down here just now with some roaches coming out. So he's going to have a pretty massive economy and lots of roaches, though, on the way very soon. And now Albert's base is going to be in huge trouble. A little late on these spine crawlers, considering you know what's coming, Albert. The death march of 4-gate. And tons of sentries and zealots coming in here. And it looks like a couple of force fields are going to prevent do a nice job of preventing a surround there from these Zerglings. Not that there's going to be enough anyway, but it looks like a few of these zealots may go down. Albert being a little indecisive here. There's not really any good way for him to be able to engage this. The best thing he can do is try and escape and hold out and engage at the same time as these roaches, which are streaming in right now. So now you can see Albert holding off and trying to wait. And here come the roaches. They're going to try and get back into the mineral line, but another nice force field from Sorcery. Just a clinic on force fields this game, but it appears that he does have some energy. He's going to be using that on a Guardian Shield. Surprising there. Going to get sniped down by the roaches fairly quickly, and now it looks like Sorcery's army finally is going to get taken out. And there is a pinging going off because Megumi has managed to rebuild her economy. And trying to say, send Zerglings up here, but Sorcery, one step ahead of that, is warping in 4 Stalkers, and they should be able to clean up all of these Zerglings here. And he actually has remacroed up this whole army down here. The problem is Sorcery is going to need to expand sometime pretty soon here. Need to get back on that production tab. Sorry, you guys. And so cruxYelloSno has got his massive roaches coming down to Sorcery's main base. And that is going to be a lot of trouble for him, as this gateway is exposed on the front, and so is the cybernetics core, and this sentry with no more energy. So here comes Sorcery's army. This is going to be a huge battle, and force field is going to play a huge role in it, and that is why cruxYelloSno is retreating. I think he doesn't want to get his army split in half, which is just a second longer. If he hadn't run away, his whole army would have gotten split in half by Sorcery. But Albert, still alive and kicking in this game, is going to keep making Zerglings, it looks like, and send them up at Megumi's base. But Megumi now with some Zerglings of her own to defend, and Albert trying to take out this pylon that's allowing all the reinforcements, but Megumi doing her best job to save the pylon, and it looks like that pylon is now finally going to fall. But Megumi should be able to defend herself here with a couple of spine crawlers there pretty easily. So now, looks like Sorcery wants to make a death march, but he's actually pulling back. It looks like because he sees all the roaches coming right for his main, and he knows he cannot afford to lose that. Because he is basically on a 1v2 right now, as Megumi barely has anything going except for a few Zerglings. And now the burrow for cruxYelloSno is going to burrow right inside of Sorcery's base and unburrow on the ramp. A little bit premature, I think, on the unburrow. He needs to get back underground. And there he goes, as there's no detection for the left team. The robotics facility just now going down. So that could easily be sniped down if cruxYelloSno wanted to. And that's got to be so frustrating for Sorcery to deal with these roaches. But I think he has plenty of army to take care of them. He just doesn't have the detection. So it's to come down to some of the... as actually... Okay, how is he seeing this now? Does he have... is there a overseer or something? Because he was picking off burrowed roaches there for a second. I swear he was shooting at them. I guess he wasn't. I must have missed something. Is there a photon cannon? There's no cannon. Okay, I guess I'm just tripping. Those actually weren't buried. And so, while the whole time that's been going on, Albert has come in to Megumi's base with some Banelings. It looks like he wasn't really able to kill many Zerglings with the Banelings, and actually, the attack is not going to pan out. So, Albert had a bit of a stalemate up here with Megumi, and the same thing going for the bottom side as cruxYelloSno, the drone rusher, and now Mass Roacher is at a bit of a stalemate with Sorcery. But Sorcery needs desperately to expand, which is what I've been saying here, and finally he's going to try and take this base. A surprising choice. I guess pretty much with NrGsteve being conceded, this base, while more exposed than this bottom expansion down there, it is halfway between Megumi's base, so he's going to be banking on the fact that Megumi can stay alive, which is saying quite a bit when there's this many roaches streaming into your mineral line, and the hatchery is going to go down very quickly. Way too many roaches in here. 1-1 upgrades on these. And Sorcery, realizing there's no way, he doesn't want to go up there and deal with that. What he's going to try and do is catch this army coming back down and force field them. Oh, he's going to trap them inside. He had a chance maybe to split them there a little bit, and they would be able to burrow and go back, and I guess, but that still would allow him some free shots. He does have an observer up here. So Albert actually going to be streaming Zerglings around the bottom side and going to be able to surround this Immortal here and a couple of Stalkers. So that Immortal really not paying for himself as he's getting surrounded by Zerglings. And same with these Stalkers, as now the probes from Sorcery are running back into the main and they're all getting picked off by Zerglings. Sorcery just forced to run back and forth, and all of these roaches just waiting. A nice teamwork there from the right team, leaving the roaches up here until the Zerglings force the retreat on this army. But Sorcery's going to double back and try and engage these roaches. He trapped some of them pretty well there, but these roaches will be able to burrow and scoot back underneath those force fields, and really draining a lot of energy on those sentries, but at the same time taking quite a bit of damage, losing quite a bit of roaches. They're getting whittled down pretty well, and Megumi even has drones out here sort of fighting with Sorcery's army. And now Sorcery's base actually looks like he was able to warp in just enough zealots to fight this off. And so his base will still be intact. And with this expansion now kicking with some minerals, Sorcery's still very much alive in this game. I keep thinking that the right team is going to pull this game through, but it's not over just yet, as now Albert's base is pretty much screwed. Sorcery is going to be able to kill this in just a few seconds. And at the same time, cruxYelloSno, he's going to be taking out this base fairly quickly as well. So problem with that being that Sorcery now is going to have no economy left. There's no minerals left in this base. Whereas cruxYelloSno has a decent economy. He's trying to throw down some spine crawlers, but I think it's going to be too late as we are in a base race right now. And he does still have this expansion kicking. And oh, here comes a massive infestors. They're actually running right into the army. Oh man, cruxYelloSno could have lost a lot more than he just did, but some nice fungal growths are really whittling down this army. And now the roaches are coming in to support. And a couple more fungal growths should just about do it for this game. As you can see, a couple more going down. As you know, the fungal growth damage against armored units has been increased. And that really making a big difference here. And here come the roaches to clean up the army. And it looks like that is going to do it as Sorcery brought all his pros up here to fight. And the GGs go down. And that is going to do it for this game. So, cruxYelloSno with the drone rush, 9 drones into NrGsteve's mineral line, just working on the nexus and trying to prevent the other probes from mining the entire time until the zerglings could get down and kill him. Pretty exciting game there. It was pretty close there for a while, and came right down to the end. So well played by the right team, and I want to say thank you to zaezrng. I'm probably not saying your name right, and I'm probably missing something obvious, but anyway, thank you, man, for sending me this game. It was a pleasure to cast. That is going to do it for me. This is IrieStarcraft, and peace out.